Green jobs now! Jobs now! Green jobs now! Jobs now! Green jobs now! Jobs now!
The Gateway project is a development model. It's going to affect the future of our region. It's going to determine what the Lower Mainland looks like in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. Right? Like, this is a major, major infrastructure plan. It's going to determine what kind of building we see, where the capital goes, and whether we have sprawl or whether we have, densified, smart growth communities. So the implications of this are huge. And 69% of people living in the Lower Mainland region said that they wanted their money to go into public transit and not freeways.
Yes.
That's 2/3 of people in the Lower Mainland region who don't want billions of their dollars spent on the Gateway project. And that was before we found out that the Macquarie Bank couldn't raise the money to pay for it. So the question is, now that the cost is going to go up by billions and billions of dollars, what percentage of people actually want these projects to be built?
The international banking community has balked at funding the building of the Port Mann Bridge and the expansion of Highway 1. It, in part, is due to the collapse of the credit markets, but it also has a lot to do with the business practices of Macquarie Bank. Other banks don't have confidence in this organization because they've shown in other similar P3 projects around the world with their toll roads that they're actually well renowned for ripping off other banks for inflating prices of projects and that kind of thing. At this time, Macquarie is struggling to scrounge up the cash to twin the Port Mann Bridge and expand Highway 1. And the Premier of BC has given an indication that they're considering bailing out the project.
Because it costs these private corporations a lot more money to borrow money. When they go to other banks, they have to pay way more for it. But they also support a whole extra bureaucracy, a bureaucracy that's up here in this building in the Macquarie Bank. The public also takes all the risks. These companies have teams of lawyers all working to figure out how to transfer all the risk away from the corporations and to the public, and also onto unsuspecting investors in the case of Macquarie Bank. And people are starting to realize that, not just the public, but investors are starting to realize that these bottom feeders are not to be trusted. They're not to be trusted with our public assets. They're not to be trusted with people's pension funds.
If building more freeways was the way to reduce congestion, then LA would be a driver's utopia. But it's not.
Confident in, we wouldn't see all this gridlock in our highways today. Right now, the SkyTrain bridge crossing the Fraser River is running at 1/3 capacity. If we were actually to put the number of passenger trains on this line to bring it up to full capacity, it would be the equivalent of a 20-lane freeway. How many more reasons does Premier Campbell need to rethink Gateway and go with transit first?
We're going to spend billions and billions of our dollars that we need to build a green economy right now. And what we're going to see is that money's going to be wasted when we really need it the most. The only question is, do we have 15 or 30 years to reduce carbon emissions by 80%? Doing this is the way to go in the exact wrong direction.
Sending trucks through our neighborhoods, we don't need your truck and freeways.
The reason why we live in one of the most livable places in the world right now is that we said no to these projects in the late 1960s and early 1970s. And we're seeing the exact same projects being proposed again. We stopped them before, we can stop them again.
Say children, you say future. Children.
Future.
Children.
Future.
I say people, you say power. People.
Power.
People.
Power.
People.
Power.
People. I say stand up, you say right. Stand up.
Right.
Stand up.
Right.
I say Campbell, you say listen. Campbell.
Listen.
Campbell.
Listen.
I say gateway, you say sucks. Gateway.
Sucks.
Gateway.
Sucks.